I'm Sarah Colvin with Cape Media News, here with Ryan Mann, the Executive Director of Friends of Bass River, for our monthly update. Ryan, thank you so much. And we're inside today.
We are. It's a little bit cooler than it was a month ago.
It was, but that's okay. It's good, always good to talk with you. So tell me a little bit about how is membership going with the Friends of Bass River?
We're plugging along. We have almost 200 members now. So
that's great.
You know, for a young organization to have that amount of support is great. I will say we're looking for a much larger pool of support. So if you're out there and you care about the Bass River, we really could use your help. So go to our website, friendsofbassriver.org. There's a link right there on how to become a member, and we'd love to have your support.
So what are the benefits of membership?
Well, the biggest membership benefit is the fact that you're contributing to the mission of rescuing this river from the precipitous decline that it's had over the last few decades. And that is, you know, as membership has its rewards, and the reward will be that day when we can say that the damage, or at least parts of the damage of that has been done to the Bass River, has been reversed. Wonderful.
And of course, for a new organization to have 200 members this early out is great, but of course, always need more support of folks.
Yep.
So again, go to friendsofbassriver.org.
That's right.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit. This is really an exciting project for me as a cyclist, you know, to see the Cape Cod Rail Trail really expanding. And one of the final pieces of the puzzle is, of course, the bridge that goes over the Bass River, replacing that old railroad bridge. And the crews have been hard at work. It's kind of amazing to see the progression that they've made. But not only is it a project to connect two spans of land and make it able for bicyclists, it's also a project to help restore the river. So tell me a little bit about what you know about that bridge project and kind of where we are in the process.
Sure. So for a very, very long time, the limiting factor for the amount of water that's been able to go through that area has been the railroad bridge and the abutments for the railroad bridge. It was only 40 feet. So all the water that's going into Volans Pond, up towards the Mill Pond, all the way at the top, all that water had to, twice a day, have some exchange. And because of that, that choke point, there was not only a tremendous amount of velocity in terms of the water that was going through there, but there was a lack of exchange in terms of the nutrients. So nutrients would come up, the nutrients would come out through our groundwater, and then it wouldn't be able to get past that truncation very easily. And so the state has been working on this permit for a number of years, but they just started earlier this summer on removing those bridge abutments at 40 feet and widening it all the way out to the full extent of what the Route 6 bridge is. And we're already seeing the benefits of that.
Really?
Yeah, the velocity of the water is drastically less than what it was. If you went to a high tide before this project was done, you could not go through there on a small paddle
crazy.
boat. Yeah,
I tried to go through in my canoe a couple of years ago, and it's just whirling eddies, and just the water's going one way and the other way. It was just unbelievable.
Right. So we're not seeing that right there. We're seeing a little bit more velocity a little bit further south, but because you're spread out that area of velocity, that truncation point, we do believe that sedimentation will be less than it was. We were seeing a lot of scouring between the railroad bridge and the Route 6 bridge. The hole there was almost 30 feet. And then on the other side of the Route 6 bridge, at low tide, you're only getting like 1.5 feet, 2 feet of water.
Really?
So we're hoping that this lessening in the velocity will have less of that scouring. In addition, the tidal exchange has increased. We think it's been increased by about 50% from what it was before. And so that's huge, because all that nutrients that's coming from north of Route 6, all the nitrogen from septics and wastewater and lawns and the like, is able to have more of a chance to get flushed out and flushed down the river a little bit better, which is great.
Do correct me if I'm wrong, but that tidal exchange really is key to making sure that our estuary is healthy, that the water is getting flushed on a daily basis. That's one of the reasons why, you know, it's such a great system, is because you have that daily influx and flow out of water. And so if you're talking about it increasing by 50%, that's huge. You're going to see a big difference, I think.
That's right. So we're looking to see the data from what has been historically from water quality tests in the past to what it might be this next year. It'll be very interesting to see.
Great. And do you think they're going to work on that project all throughout the winter, or will there be a stopping point?
Yeah, I think they're planning on it. I mean, I really help them. Let's hope it's not one of those frigid Cape Cod winters.
Right.
But yeah, I think they're planning to have it open next year, so they'll continue to go at it. Good for them.
Great. Well, can't wait to see the measurables in terms of what impact that's having on the water, for sure. Another impact on the water, of course, so we can see through the fishermen that are in there, recreational fishermen, commercial fishermen as well. Lots of people enjoy that sport on the Bass River, and I understand that you've got a kind of report. You talked to a local bait and tackle shop who kind of gave us some insight on what the fishing was like over the summer.
Yeah, Lee from the Riverview Bait and Tackle in South Yarmouth. Had a short conversation with him, and he's been in business since 1972.
Wow.
So it's been a very, very long time. And one of the things that I thought was interesting is he said when he opened his location where he is now 25 years ago, all the rivers were loaded with winter flounder. In the spring and the fall, the bridges, the Bass River Bridge, the High Bank Bridge, they were lined with fishermen with buckets for these winter flounder. We just don't see that anymore. And a lot of it has to do with habitat loss, degradation. There's also some questions whether there's predation issues. But we just don't see that anymore.
Right.
What we have seen, according to Lee at Riverview, is that we've seen an increase this year in striper fishing. So and folks that are getting keeper size stripers, and that's big. There's smaller fish, but there's more of them, or at least that's what it was this year. And they stayed later into the fall because it was so warm that we were getting landings in the Bass River up until about 3 weeks ago, which is great.
Yeah, my brother definitely had a lot of stripers that he caught off the boat in Bass River over the summer. So any indication as to why we're seeing more of those stripers?
Yeah, I mean, you know, part of it could be management, but you know, age classes are built over time. So if we have a really good spawning year where there's a lot of baby fish that are spawned, you tend to have a large age class in like 3 to 4 years. So that's one of the reasons why the actions that we do now are going to greatly affect what happens in 2 or 3 seasons.
Right, and so talking about those actions, I mean, thinking of any action items, I know we've talked about this in the past, but is there anything that comes to mind right away when we talk about taking action, the things that we need to be doing?
Sure. So, yes, personally, we can all look towards our own actions. Where are we putting our trash? Where are we putting our refuse? Making sure that's properly disposed of. Making sure we're treating our backyards in environmentally sensitive ways. Making sure we're monitoring and maintaining our septic systems appropriately. If you want more information about that, there is information on our website, friendsofbassriver.org, and there will be more information coming.
Fantastic. So thinking of things that are coming up this Saturday, you're hoping people will all gather at Bass River Beach, aka Smugglers, for a cleanup. Tell me a little bit about this event and what people can expect. So
we had an event in September. It was pouring, and we still had almost 30 people come. So we're hoping this year, this month, this is the last one for the year. It's getting colder. It's our last opportunity to really do a clean sweep of our shores around Bass River. We're not asking for a huge time commitment. Show up at 10 o'clock. We'll give you an assignment with a group or your family somewhere along Bass River where it's easy to access. And go out. We'll give you bags and gloves. Go out there and pick up some trash. And thanks to the Yarmouth DPW, they will pick that up when we when we were done with it. So it's a
Great.
great way, just a few short hours to lend a hand to clean the river and then go get some hot cocoa and warm up a bit.
I love it. And of course, it's so important to keep the river clean, not just aesthetically, but really marine debris can pose a threat to the natural life that's out there.
Huge, absolutely. From cigarette, butts and food wrappers to plastics and non-degradable materials, it really does have a huge impact on the marine environment, not only to the big megafauna that we're talking about, like fish and stripers, but the water quality affects all. And so when I talk to folks that have been around here a long time and they talk about the scallop degradation and stuff like that, that's all due to water quality. And if we are able to remove some of those debris, the macro debris, those big pieces, that's only going to help if we are consistent at it.
Fantastic. So the beach cleanup Saturday, 10 to noon at Bass River Beach on South Shore Drive in Yarmouth.
Yep, that's right.
Great, also known as Smugglers. 10 to noon, you get everything you need and some hot cocoa at the end. Can't beat that.
Yeah,
and then you're working on planning an event, not set in stone yet, but this sounds really exciting, coming up at West Dennis Beach, December 2nd. What's this all about?
December 2nd, Saturday, December 2nd. Full moon is on the rise, and we're going to take advantage of that extra light, weather depending, to do a night walk along West Dennis Beach with the support of the Recreation Commission for the town of Dennis. So West Dennis Beach, 7 o'clock. I'll be giving some narration of how what we're seeing, and maybe we'll find some cool critters and stuff in the evening, which is really fun. So dress appropriately, bring a flashlight. We're not planning to have to use flashlights, but it should be a fun event, and it's free and open to the public.
Fantastic. And Ryan, again, if folks want to learn more about Friends of Bass River, if they want to get involved and keep up to date, what's the best way for them to do so?
First of all, go to our website, friendsofbassriver.org. Go to our Facebook page, Friends of Bass River. We have over almost 500 people that are following that at this point. It's an easy way to kind of keep involved. And then, of course, join our mailing list, which is available at our website. And we, once a month, have a river newsletter that comes out. And we're hoping that that helps to pique intrigue and get people involved in the river.
Great. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for stopping by the studio, and we will check in with you again next month.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Ryan Mann, of course, is the Executive Director of Friends of Bass River. You can keep up to date with them online at friendsofbassriver.org. For Cape Media News, I'm Sarah Colvin.